system, like your white corpuscles operate in your blood system, and it starts killing things that are out of order. Saturn sends back all your checks that you wrote. You wrote some checks? Them rings of Saturn contrary, it's going to send them back. You're going to cash them. Saturn is the devil to those who don't know how this universe works. But it's not negative in the concept that you think it is. Do you understand? Really. And as we move into the photon belt, the sun intensifies. And you know you got the apogee and epigee of the earth as it moves, long points and short points to the sun, and also dealing with the seasons. Well, guess what? The vibrational points of the sun and the earth is intensifying. It's quickening. Anything that's mutant or outside of nature is going to burn up. You know how comets burn up? So the great experiment has been done, but it's not complete. And so in order to save our sons, we must absorb them. And we must also acknowledge that they are our sons. Just because they've been ruling and misusing that rulership, we're pissed off and call them aliens. No, it's truth. It's the truth. Which caused her womb to be sad. And out of her sad womb, she has produced insane sons, which is what's wrong with him. Do you understand? So Constitution not only means that divine document, Constitution means literally make up. Who made you? Who made you? Who's Allah? What is Father? What is derived from? Father is derived from Pata. Pata is derived from paternity. Paternity is derived from nativity or the birth of a woman. So the father is still the mother because he's subordinate. But you haven't recognized that, have you? All right. So now you know who Allah is. And she's unhappy. And by the very nature of her womb, she will give birth to the solving. It operates in nature. It has nothing to do with your belief systems. But once you understand, then you understand why sons of destiny are born cyclically to fix this problem. You call them prophets. Once you understand those rules, they don't change. What do the prophets do? Change the vibrational static points to active points amongst the people to get them thinking again. When they think again, the atmosphere changes, for they are gods and makers of their own condition. But I'm just telling you how it works. So therefore, teach the people. They will solve the problem. That's why the Drew Ali said to the people, he says, this is your worst movement. The Negro problem is your problem. Even some of the Europeans are helping me. Why aren't you? But he also said, we do not seek to marry into the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Why? Because we're out of order. Do you understand? You got to solve your problem first, because it continues, because the great sin exists with us. That's why nobody wants to marry, what, black people or niggers, because you bring that corruption and that baggage into the family, and you corrupt them. And you sit around and feel sorry for yourself, because the womb is corrupted. Why? Because what you think affects the gene pool. Because just like any other science, that womb is a school. And however that woman thinks, she's teaching that child is already educated when it comes, whether it's negative or positive. However, they also don't want you to know that, so that you don't use it positively and solve this problem. You tired of this, sisters? Tired of this crap we going through? When you all decide you're tired of this, S-H-I-T, it'll start ending. And us sons, you know, we talk stuff, and a lot of men get credit for a lot of crap. All we doing is carrying out our mother's orders. Don't think it's ever different than that. It may appear that every male that's born here is going to serve his mother, his sister, girlfriend, wife, some woman. We're here to serve. Sometimes we don't like it. Sometimes we get pissed off. But man, everything a man does, you know, a man can have $1 million in his pocket. We can go play basketball, you understand what I'm saying? Drink a soda and sleep on a sofa and be satisfied. Woman come in, we got to go get silk curtains and everything. Got to go get the stuff, clap your hands, and drapes got to open up like that. Got to get silk blankets and all this stuff. But other than that, we don't care. Not that we don't care, but we're mechanical. But women inspire men to civilization. It's serious. I mean, we ain't going to, you know, all men ain't going to admit that to you. But that's the real deal. You know, we come out the womb, spend the rest of our life trying to get back in. It's true. Now, what you got to do is don't misuse that knowledge, but use it wisely. Because men operate on principles of loyalty. When man feels that loyalty is not around him, he falls apart. Men stay with women on that principle, and men leave women for the lack of that principle. That's what he operates on. In his nature, not what he says. He can say all kind of crap. But really, that's the key. Now, you're the key to civilization. And it's been in your hands all the time. But we followed after the gods of Europe that we knew nothing of, these idol gods. That's what got us messed up. You must shed them. But nobody can make you shed them because they're in your mind. So you got to have another body of information that releases you from those chains. But again, you got to want it. But the European is also sealed, too, because he has no choice. Because it's also in his gene pool. He's going to have to tell you. You understand? He can't, it's no escape. He's going to have to tell you the truth. But it's up to you to really pay attention to what you think you're hearing and what you are hearing. And just like I go into the, like you say, dictionary, law dictionary to show you stuff that's right there. What part of the rulership of the Romans is to boast? You understand what I'm saying? So he boasts of his exploits. So if he do something to you, he may code it, but he's going to write it down. This is the reason why they spent so much energy and time in the period after the Civil War